But I am going to go ahead and share just a little tidbit that some of you may know and some of you may not know. It took me probably about 4 months before I decided to join. Thank you for the hearts. And when I finally decided that I was going to join, you know, my husband and I had chatted about it, and we had been chatting about it, and I actually, thank you, I made the conscious decision to tell my husband that I was going to give this business a try, but he knew how badly I wanted to leave my job. And when, I'll never forget, I don't recommend doing this, but the day that I joined, I said, well, I'm going to do this, and I am actually going to quit my job and do this too. That didn't go over very well because I hadn't even started yet. But the reason that I want to share that with you is because his response to me when I did say that was that he said, well, you go ahead and sell your beauty creams and we'll see what happens. And I said, oh, I'll show you what's going to happen when I sell my beauty creams. We'll show you what kind of life we're going to live. So I always kind of share that in my story because you know, my teacher, my husband, and I, and our families, we are all teachers by trade. And my husband's family, my father-in-law worked for GM, and his mom is a special ed administrator. And so we all come from very safe, salary-driven, union strong positions, and so to do something entrepreneurial was very scary. And you know, I can't blame him for feeling skeptical because it's not in our comfort zone. That's not what we know. But I had to, you know, I knew that when we were doing this, I had to show him and I had to teach him that it was going to be okay. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on some of that. And so when I started my journey, you know, I hit level 5 in 4 months, and I hit Lexus volume in 9 months, and Elite. And I'll never forget, we were on our way. I had, it was October. I had hit car volume in July. It was October, and I was getting ready to go to Napa on the premier trip. And my husband was still not on board. He wasn't not supporting me. He wasn't, you know, putting me down or anything like that. He was helping with the kids, but he wasn't believing like I was believing. He wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid for sure. And it bothered me so bad. So, you know, for us, for 2 teacher salaries, and I had more than doubled my income. I was still working full-time. I was driving a Lexus, and I was an Elite, and he still was not there. And I remember having many talks with Miriam Steckety, and crying many times, and because I really wanted him to be on board and to see the vision that I saw, and he just wasn't there yet. And she gave me a couple of tips which I want to share with you because I really feel like they were instrumental in my business. Because whether or not it's your husband or your mother or your best friend or your, you know, someone in your life, they're not on board with you, and they're not going to be on board, and not everyone is going to be on board. My 2 sisters, I love them dearly, but they do not buy from me, and they do not want to join me in business. My husband, it took him a very long time to get on board, and it wasn't until I really started to, after I hit Elite and I was going away to that premier trip. But a couple of the tips that she shared with me was, first of all, don't try and convince them. You know, this is an opportunity, and it's not for everyone, and not everyone is going to see it like that, but do not try and convince, do not try and persuade, and actually do not talk about it. You know, the best thing that you can do is you can keep your eyes on the prize and stay focused, and actually just prove it to them. Because for my husband, he was, you know, he's a money he's a numbers guy, and he needed to see the proof in the pudding. And there was nothing that I was going to say about where this business is going, or where I think this company is going, or what how amazing this company is. He did not see that. He needed to see the proof in the paychecks, and the proof and the stability of the paychecks. And so if anything, I guess I can tell you is just that really was my driving force. I was so focused when I was building, and when I really got to where I needed to go, because I just really focused on, putting my nose to the grindstone, and I was not going to stop. I was not going to care about what anyone else thought and what anyone else said. I was just going to continue to, pushing until I was able to completely prove them wrong. And, I'd like to say that I won because here I am sitting in Maui with my husband, and he is a believer now, and it did take a little bit more time, and it did, everyone is going to believe at their own pace. But first of all, if it's your friends that are not believing you and they're not on board, then they're not truly your friend. And my husband and I had to have a really real conversation, and I finally had to take a little bit of ownership. And I really said, you need to trust me. I am your wife. I am not going to do anything to put our family in financial jeopardy. Because he knew that I wanted to leave my career for this. And for teachers, as many of you know, you can't just quit your career and get a new one, if it doesn't work out. You can, but you're going to start back at the entry level step. And, that's what scared him more than anything. But finally, when I came back, and I was hell-bent that I was going to make this what I could truly make it, I finally said to him, you need to get on board, and you need to trust me as your wife, and believe in me, or this is not going to work. And it's finally when I really took ownership of it, because I knew that this is what I wanted. I knew that this is what made me happy, and I just did it. And that is finally when we turned a corner. And now we are living a life that we could have never lived had we financially, putting money away for kids' college, putting money into our 401k, just providing for our family, that even if both of us were at the tippity top at the very end of our teaching careers, we would have never been able to experience this life. And so that's why I just really want to say that you need to figure out what drives you. For me, it was going to be that I was going to prove them wrong. I was going to prove all of those skeptics wrong. I was going to laugh them all the way to the bank in my white car. And I was going to show them that they're dumb, and I was not going to care what they thought. So, you need to figure out what drives you, and what is going to give you that self-gratification when they're, naysaying on you and doubting you, and, cross all that extra noise out of your life and stay focused. And eventually, if those people that are in your life, they really love you and they really care about you, and you're continuing to prove them, then it's going to work, and they're going to turn a corner, and they will support you. But you can't put a time frame on it. You really need to let them accept it on their own terms, and just know that it will happen, but you need to be patient, because I am living proof of that. So I hope that this helped you guys, because I know that, this business is scary for some people, especially, those safe, money-driven people. And so I hope that this really helps, you keep your eye on the prize, and know that, you can do this business, and you can persevere, and you will still come out and have those, skeptics turn into supporters. And so, thank you so much for listening today, and I'm getting ready to go zip lining, so I will catch you all later. Thank you so much.